Hi, this is the bad boy, Joey Janela, and you're listening to the Going In Raw podcast. Joey Janela always goes in.
This is the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and you are listening to Going In Raw.
Hey everyone, Kenny Omega here. In case you didn't know, we have an awesome kick-butt show called Steve and Larson's Going In Raw, and they're going to be supporting AEW every week amongst many other things. Goodbye and smooch. Good night. Bye-bye.
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Taped live at twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. And, of course, found wherever audio podcasts can be found. Larson, tonight on AEW Dynamite, we found out Mox's next two title defenses. Those were revealed. The indie darling Warhorse made his debut, but perhaps biggest of all, not one, but two former WWE stars made their debuts. The first of which, Matt Cardona, FKA Zack Ryder, is now AEW. How do you feel about that, Larson? And who should
Zack
his
Ryder,
first...
more like Jacked Ryder. Man,
Daddy Riker.
He was ripped.
Yeah, he always looked great in WWE.
He was always in good shape, man. But like when he came out with that shirt on, it looks like he looked like he was wearing a muscle suit, man. He was huge in the upper body, huge.
I wonder, but let me ask you this though: how much of that might be attributed? Look, I'm sure he was working out quite a bit, but is some of that attributed to the fact that we had just seen 10 minutes or so of Warhorse, who is not that? Because
Matt Cardona put on some muscle.
WWE guys are generally pretty darn big,
and he put on probably 10 pounds of muscle.
Oh, I don't think, dude, he was big in WWE.
He was in really good shape, but he was huge.
Who should his first feud be with?
He walked out like this, like he couldn't put his arms down all the way because his lats were so large, man.
Yeah. Who should his first feud be with?
Cody.
Okay, they're going to tag team next week against the Dark Order. Dark Order's got a lot of matches. They've got a lot of people in there.
When there's like 100 members of the faction, I guess they can do that.
There's a lot of people in Dark Order.
Yeah.
Cody, that'd be good. I don't know. I don't know. Like Zack Ryder, I always appreciated Zack Ryder. I always liked Zack Ryder. I'll be interested to see what Matt Cardona brings. That's a bit different maybe from Zack Ryder. I mean, it was always unfortunate that the guy got himself over in WWE in the most organic and, in fact, pretty revolutionary way for the time through the internet, through YouTube, which nobody was doing at the time. We're talking like, what, 2009? Something like that?
I think 2010, yeah.
2010.
2009, 2010, yeah.
Yeah. So now he's in AEW. There's only a couple more high-profile WWE names. Miro. Mm-hmm. Who am I missing? Miro? There's like one other person.
The Mike and Maria, they haven't really signed with any place yet, although I think she said that she, spoke highly of a potential return to Ring of Honor, so I guess that's based on what we saw tonight from Hugh Longheavy says Chris Hero. We saw tonight from Matt Cardona. It looks like he's more or less doing the same exact thing as he did in WWE.
Well, did he fist pump at all?
No, but he held up the L and the I for Long Island like he used to do WWE. He did the Rough Rider for his finish.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though.
Same thing.
Here's the thing, though. I'm totally trying to defend the guy. His shirt says Strong Island. He never said that in WWE, did he?
All right, slight rebrand. Slight.
How do you make it?
Instead of helmet,
you can't do this now. You got to throw up an S or something.
You can't really do an S with one hand, though. You need two.
Another huge name.
Yeah, this was perplexing.
That showed up. I had to look her up and make sure like my eyes were not deceiving me. Formerly known as Cameron in WWE, also known as the person who tried to pin her opponent.
Naomi.
Oh, was it Naomi at the time?
I believe it was Naomi was lying on her stomach and Cameron tried to pin her.
And yelled at the ref, said, "Count, ref." And he's like, "She's on her stomach." I had read an article about her, or I'm sorry, an interview with her a while ago where she I wonder if this is the deal. If I'm not mistaken, she was in education. She was in, I'm not mistaken, like special needs education, I think, which seems. I was like, man, she's terrific. I don't care if you don't know which side of person you can pin. If you're out there doing real good work, with with special needs kid, that's fantastic. I wonder if maybe the pandemic got her looking around for places to work. Maybe, I don't know. But she's now in AEW. Kind of shocking to see her because I didn't think that she'd be wrestling again. I just never really thought of her really much. But good for her for getting this opportunity. She's going to be Nyla Rose's tag partner in this tag tournament thing?
Yes, they explain what the rules for the Deadly Draw were, yes.
You got that right. It's Lethal Lottery, man. Mm-hmm. Nobody knows who their partner is going to be.
I mean, they're both alliterative things of random draws, so I just kind of put it together.
You're a pretty smart dude when you want to be. If you were in the Lethal Lottery, if you and I were in the Lethal Lottery, obviously, usually we'd be considered a tag team, but we'd be split up for this one tournament. Who in the wrestling community, Larson, would you least want to be paired with?
You mean wrestlers themselves?
Wrestling community, our peers in the wrestling YouTube journalism space. Oh
man, that kind of sounds like a that's
spot I really put you on.
Yeah, I don't really.
I'm going to say Sean Ross Sapp. You know why? Because he's a smart cookie, and I don't want to be upstaged by anybody.
He's also very tall.
He's like really, exactly. There's several different avenues that I would feel like, and he's got like actual sources, and he's like a really nice guy. He has a filter, and I don't. There's any number of reasons I wouldn't want to be paired with him because he would just show me up. That's why. Anyways, see how I did it right there?
There you go.
Say something nice about the guy.
Yeah, I can't. I can't be that creative right now. I'm not that clever right now.
That's all right.
I'm operating about like 4.5, 5 hours sleep.
That's all right. I got you covered. It's all good. What'd you think about AEW in general tonight, man?
It was kind of something about it fell off from the get-go. I don't know what it was. Again, maybe it's because I'm short on rest. But I didn't feel like the crowd attendance was as exuberant as they have been. Like there were some matches where the TV direction was awful. The tag title match, the TV direction was awful. They missed so many spots. So many spots. I don't know. It just kind of, as a whole, Art Caven says, Dynamite did feel off tonight. It just felt a little off. I didn't really feel like a whole lot of segments really came together.
Like
I think it felt a little bit off.
The opening match felt like they had scripted, for lack of a better word, I guess. They had figured out the Orange Cassidy stuff in the first 5 minutes, and then it was just, let's just call it on the spot. Let's call it 10-man tag match. Let's just call it in the ring. Yeah. With like 10 voices just yapping away. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'll put it this way. This episode to me, especially, I think the one thing that stood out to me was the MJF the speech, State of the AEW or whatever. That to me really felt like it needed a crowd. And now that I processed the entire episode, I think maybe a lot of the stuff was just designed for an actual crowd. And maybe it just needed that. Maybe it just felt off because of that. I don't know. I didn't necessarily think it felt off. It felt like kind of par for the course for AEW for me. But I saw that comment a lot, so who am I to argue with anybody on that?
I mean, I'm a student of all Elite's products, so if something seems off, I notice it.
You're definitely the stan of the two of us. I enjoy All Elite. I watched like 5 minutes of Dark the other day.
Yeah.
So that makes me something too. So anyways, I don't know, man. Let's just hop right into this. I wonder if it's because, I don't know. Excalibur was missing. I think we can both speculate on that one. Anyways, kicking things off here, we had, like I said, 10-man tag action, best friends and friends, Luchasaurus and Jungle Jack. Versus the entirety of the Inner Circle. And it started off some comedy stuff. It was Hager and Orange Cassidy going at it, and then they start throwing around Marco Stunt. He gets on Luchasaurus's back at one point. Luchasaurus launched himself off the apron. That was cool stuff. But eventually it just turned into it was I have here in my notes a cluster F, but it was a relatively enjoyable cluster F. There's lots of cool sequences going on. It was all pretty. Yeah, I guess the match was sort of used just to set up Matt Hardy's. Well, two things, I guess. Matt Hardy and Sammy Guevara getting right back into their feud. Mm-hmm. And then of course Orange Cassidy and Jericho, they're doing a rematch, and then but before that, next week we're going to have a debate between these two guys.
Yes, that should be fun.
Yeah, it's Jericho. Jericho's always good with those kind of things. Like you think that you think that it's one thing. Dude, it's Chris Jericho, and he could even make a debate fun. Debates typically aren't that.
Yeah. Yes.
This
opening match was all over the place. I won't call it a mess. It was just all over the place.
Yeah, it was. In the end, though, there was Matt Hardy's music started to play. It distracted Sammy Guevara, who's the legal man. Luchasaurus, the legal man on the other team, hit a choke slam, and what does he call his black mass finisher? What is that?
Tail whip.
Tail whip. That's right. For the win. And then Matt Hardy was just chilling out there in the crowd, sort of staring down Sammy. It didn't end there, but before we got to more inner circle Matt Hardy shenanigans, we had a Mox promo where he called out Cage, said Ricky Starks is a punk biatch for attacking Darby Allin from behind. And then he concludes by saying, I don't start fights, I finish them.
It's kind of textbook Mox.
Yeah, nothing's really changed for Mox. I don't know. You can't really expect a whole. It's just Mox.
Yeah, it's just Mox.
It's just him. After that, we had I guess it would be an AEW debut. I don't think he's sticking around, but Warhorse taking on Cody for that TNT title.
Hold on. Did you notice there was that QR code in the corner of the ring that if you want to order Burger King and just scan that and have some, the King would show up at your doorstep with a Whopper or two?
I honestly thought that was targeted specifically at my fat ass because I was like, man, that sounds amazing right now.
It did.
I had a steak tonight, but that really sounded good too.
Sounds good. I had waffles. I made some blueberry.
That sounds great.
Blueberry banana waffles.
How are you having any sort of bad day, man? If you had freaking waffles for dinner tonight, that sounds like a king's meal.
It's because I slept like 5 hours. I have to sleep about 6 hours a day before.
You got to get some teep tonight, man.
I'm sure as heck gonna try, man.
Hey, why is it
number one?
The first, so how will this match goes 10 minutes, right?
Yeah, roughly.
Now, earlier today during your preview, you said, and somebody else in chat mentioned this, that was this built up on Twitter, the idea that Warhorse needs to can last 5 minutes against Cody?
The way the tweet Cody put up reacted to the announcement of this match was, I bet Warhorse, essentially paraphrasing, he'd be lucky to last 5 minutes in the ring with me. So I thought that was going to be something they would do. Not mentioned. Cody didn't seem to be wrestling with any sense of urgency past the first 3 minutes.
I give it up to Cody though for trying to give these guys a showcase, you know, because that's what this was. I do feel like commentary in the first couple minutes, it actually just felt like they were assessing his pro wrestling ability, not in like a commentator way, in like a recruitment way. You know, like Taz was talking, he was like, "Oh yeah, that hip toss, that was a solid looking hip toss." I feel like that's something they would say if I executed a solid looking hip toss. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they started getting a bit more into the story of it all. But I do kind of feel that with Excalibur not there, you had these three old guys who just sort of enjoy each other's company, and it felt like they got off target a little bit here and there.
Yeah, it did seem the commentary in several moments was more stream of consciousness rather than telling the stories of what was going on in the ring. I'll agree with you there.
I mean, it started to pick up a little bit when he started getting some offense in and started doing some things that were a bit more creative, perhaps. Let's see, there was that one bit where they were doing running the ropes, and then eventually Warhorse hits a clothesline Cody rolled out of the ring at that point. During commercial, Cody got control of the match, put on a figure 4, but immediately it was flipped over. So the pain was then transferred, or the pressure was transferred to Cody. There was a cool bit where Warhorse got a stomp onto Cody on the floor from the apron. Top rope elbow got him like 2.9 or so.
Yeah, that was really close.
That was really close.
Near fall, man.
In the end, though, Cody's targeting of Warhorse's leg was too much. Targeted. He slapped a figure 4 on. Warhorse originally, or when it first went on, he was trying to evade it. He was trying to fight it off. Yeah, trying to fight it off. Yeah. Cody got it on. Tap.
Yeah. So after the bell rings, Dark Order hits the ring. They send Warhorse out, go after Cody. Arn gets in. He's ready to square up. He's ready to throw down against
that was rad.
I want to see a spine buster. Instead, there's a motorcycle going by my house right now. That's why I said instead.
Good motivation there.
Jacked Ryder, Matt Cardona, hits the ring, fends off the Dark Order, and man,
why couldn't he have called like? Do they talk to lawyers about that? Matt Cardona is just too much to say. I don't like saying it.
Yeah, why can't he be Jack Ryder?
Right? That's what I was thinking. Yeah, Jack Ryder. They see him. Hey, you look huge. Why don't we call you Jack Ryder? And he's like, nah, I kind of rather go by my real name. Well, I'm Tony effing Khan. You're going to be Jack Ryder. Do you want a paycheck or not?
Yeah.
Do you want to keep doing your silly freaking
like saying hey and
you want to keep on doing your silly toy podcast when they were talking about the toy? Hey, Matt Cardona loves toys.
So they all seem good and happy to see each other. So I would assume that it's going to lead to a feud between the two of them. That would just be my sense.
All right, before we continue, here's a word from the sponsor of today's show, forhims.com. Hey, Larson.
Yeah?
Do you feel like you're moving forward with your life while that hairline of yours is moving backwards? 66% of men start losing their hair by the age of 35, but I'm here to tell you that the best time to prevent even more hair loss is to do something right now while you still have some hair up on your dome.
It can be tough for guys to go to the doctor and get care for issues that may seem uncomfortable, even if they're totally normal and completely treatable. But thanks to the wonders of science, hair loss can be optional. Thanks to their FDA-approved products, Hims is the paradigm shift you need to treat your hair loss.
Hims connects you with licensed medical professionals online. All you got to do is answer a few questions for free to see if FDA-approved hair loss treatments are right for you. If approved, products are shipped directly to your door.
Today, Hims is giving you their best offer yet. If you're not happy with your results after 90 days, Hims will give you a full refund. And right now, Going in Raw listeners can get their first visit absolutely free. Go to forhims.com/GIR.
Remember, that's forhims.com/GIR. Full refund of price paid available for the first 90-day supply. Refund requests must be made between 90 and 180 days after product shipment delivered. Prescription products require an online consultation with a medical professional who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
So after that, Tony Schiavone comes out. He's seemingly ready to talk about All Out, AEW's next pay-per-view spectacular. Instead, he's interrupted by Jericho in the Inner Circle. They're furious about everything that's going on. They're drawing some lines in the sand. They're making some ultimatums. Sammy calls out Matt Hardy, calls him an SOB. Jericho calls out Orange Cassidy. He says in 2 weeks he will give Cassidy the rematch he wants. And when Jericho wins again, Cassidy is going to owe him $7,000 for the blazer that he ruined. More than that, next week, he's challenging Orange to a debate with a very special guest moderator. Who is it going to be?
Is there an obvious answer that I'm not thinking of right now?
You know,
it's going to be Tyson? It's going to be Tyson again?
Lance Storm. He's officially, I believe he, I don't know if he could travel the country. Probably not. Be great if it was Lance Storm.
Is Lance Storm with AEW now?
No, but I think he posted on Twitter that he's no longer furloughed. He's unemployed.
Oh, yeah. He mentioned that, a little while ago.
But I think that's just because of travel restrictions, so I'm guessing he can't travel. But it'd be great if it was Lance Storm. Because Jericho's a tag team partner back in the day.
The Thrill Seekers, right?
Yep.
Yeah. That'd be rad. I was watching on WCW had some, or Twitter had some like Lance Storm promo that I thought was hilarious. He was really good, man.
Yeah, he was good. He was great.
So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that'd be great if it was him.
Then Jericho asked Santana, "What do I smell like? Do I smell like orange juice still?"
He said, "You smell like cat piss."
Yeah.
Whenever there's a dope fiend around, it smells like cat piss.
Launch yourself off the balcony.
I'll just go through off the balcony. Let's see here. After that, there was some sort of FTR legal proceedings.
This was the highlight of the show for me. I thought this was great. I thought Cash Wheeler was hilarious in this whole thing.
They're in a conference room, and they got a couple of lawyers there, and FTR, and then Arn Anderson with the tucked-in AEW T-shirt comes in.
Well, I love it because FTR is like, we're signing these contracts because if we want to be tag champions, we got to have these contracts. Mm-hmm. And since we want to be tag champs, we need a consultant, someone to guide us.
Tag team
the inner workings of tag team wrestling.
Tag team contracts.
Yes. Yeah. He's helping them negotiate their deal. It's like, you guys got your signing bonus. Yeah. So there's going to be strict adherence to the 10 count between tags. Yeah. And you guys are only going to wrestle in FTR matches, which I thought was funny because all those times they were in the Lucha House Party matches in WWE.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got that. And then Cash was making a huge deal. Hey, we want Tag Team Appreciation Night hosted by FTR on August 12th. Is that in there? Is that in the paperwork? So
August 12th, they're billing as AEW Super Wednesday, I think is what they called it. Like towards when they were announcing the stuff, when they said, these all the stuff that's happening next week, like on the debate card with Jericho and Cassidy at the top, it said AEW Super Wednesday. So they're trying to manufacture a big deal type thing. So I think they're really targeting the 12th. Wait a second. The debate isn't on the 12th though. The debate's on the 5th.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. So they called something Super Wednesday. I don't know.
I missed it completely. So
who knows?
Can't help you there. Sorry.
There you go.
So anyways, AEW's lawyer says, yeah, the language about Tag Team Appreciation Night is in there. They're signing the deals. In walks Hangman Adam Page with a bottle of whiskey and some glasses. He pours some drinks. He pours one for Arn. Arn's like, nah, not my speed anymore. Page and FTR cheers. They say, I believe Page says, the Mid-Atlantic boys ride again. They drink, and Cash is like, oh, it's cheap stuff.
It's cheap stuff. Well, okay, so he poured Cash and Dax like double shots. He filled up.
Yeah, he filled up his whole glass. Yeah,
he filled up his entire glass.
And I think Paige said, "Yeah, I poured too much."
I think I poured too much for myself. That was pretty funny. Yeah. So, dude, I don't know, man. Seeing this, I'm kind of getting the feeling that Hangman is it's gonna be a splinter thing. It's gonna be Hangman, FTR, and Cody as some sort of new Four Horsemen thing. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe not Cody.
I don't know.
Maybe
Arn's been kind of like not that happy with Cody lately, though.
Yeah, maybe it'll be the other guy, Sean Spears. Maybe it'll be Spears and Tully and Arn, and then FTR and what's his face, Hangman. I could maybe see that. He doesn't seem like he wants to be a loner, dude.
He just wants a friend to drink with. That's what he wants.
He wants drinking partners. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Gypsy, get out of here.
But I can also just see AEW using FTR as kind of the fulcrum that eventually and finally splits up Kenny and Page, but not necessarily to form anything new.
Oh, they're gonna come on, man. They're gonna do that cheesy stuff. They love WCW. WCW does stuff all the time. They can't help themselves. If people want Warhorse to get Warhorse, people want a new Four Horseman, they're gonna get a new Four Horseman. It's gonna happen. Gonna happen.
We'll see. What happened next was the Dark Order taking on Hangman Page, Kenny Omega, Stu Grayson, Evil Uno. Gypsy, want to take the co-host seat?
Go ahead. You start this off.
All right. So Brody Lee and Anna Jay, they come down to the ringside area with Uno and Grayson. But then they go up towards the commentary booth. Colt Cabana's there too. He joins the commentary team. He's got a couple little funny bits at one point. The commentary just asks him, "Have you joined the Dark Order?" And Colt says, "No, I just like hanging around. I just like hanging out with him," which I thought was fantastic. I thought Colt was great. Colt was great on commentary tonight. That bit where they ask him, "Hey, have you joined the Dark Order?" He goes, "No, I'm just hanging out now.
I'm just hanging out."
I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, that was funny. I know that was good. That was good. He
always
seems,
look on his face at the end when Brody's like, "You need to get out of here."
Yeah. Huh? What? Okay. He's so chill with everything.
Oh, he's so good.
It's pretty funny stuff.
He's so good. This match was all right. Towards the end, Dark Order's got some pretty innovative tag team combo offense.
Yeah, I like Stu. I don't see Stu and Evil Uno tag as much as I should, probably because most of their matches happen on Dark.
Oh, is that why?
Well, they were in the main event the other night.
Oh, all right.
Fighting Willie Hobbs, I think, and his partner. I don't know who. So yeah. Anyways, this is actually a pretty fun match. Of course, there was some milling about at the beginning between Omega and Page. Who's going to start the match? Kenny wants to start the match.
Well, there's a thing where Kenny is coming down for his entrance, and he comes out and sees Dark Order and Page brawling.
Mm-hmm.
And so Kenny separates, like, "Hey, what are you doing? You're not, why are you starting the brawl already?" I guess you'd see. I thought I saw Dark Order attack him, but maybe he didn't see that. And so while he's trying to deal with all that, Uno comes from behind, attacks Kenny.
Yeah.
We see the Young Bucks. They're watching the match in the crowd. That'll come into play later.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned earlier that TV direction was garbage during this match. There's this great spot where Kenny sends Stu Grayson into the corner. He does that spot. What you see him do is where he leaps out of the corner over the ring post and takes someone out with the tope.
Mm-hmm.
And they just did the kind of GoPro shot of him leaping out of the ring, but you don't see the result.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, since I've seen him do it before, I kind of piece it together. But if you haven't seen him do it before, you're like, well, this guy just launched himself out of the ring. What the hell?
Yeah. I'm with you on that one.
There's other spots in this match especially that really stood out. Like the direction was not good.
Yeah. So in the end, though, what is it? Uno got a V-trigger to the head, and then Hangman and Kenny do their combo. Page gets the pin on Evil Uno. Mr. Brody comes down, starts berating Uno and Grayson, while Hangman starts laughing, which was pretty funny. Brody gets on the mic, calls out Hangman, says, "Kenny, it's so nice that you showed up." And he's like, "I see you got your friends with you too." So the Bucks come down. Ton of Dark Order guys attack. FTR come out, help even the odds. They're all standing tall.
Yeah, they brought the cooler with them and chucked it at Brody Lee.
They love those single-use coolers,
those styrofoam coolers, man.
Did you mention that Anna Jay is another member, another new member of the Dark Order? Okay.
Yeah, she was standing with Brody near the commentary booth during the match.
Britt Baker had another note to pass to Tony, and he says, "I got another note. Britt wants to say something about Big Swole." And so Britt said something about Big Swole. She said, "I know you're in the tag team tournament, and I'm going to give you a shot at me, but only if you beat an opponent of my choice." Who's that opponent going to be, Larson? Abaddon.
Could be.
It should be. Abaddon's scary. Super scary.
That's a good choice. Good choice. Next, we had I don't think it was a title match. Was it a title match? I said it was a title match. So maybe it was. Diamante taking on Hikaru Shida.
I don't know if it was a title match.
Had a brief video package in advance. Before the bell, Hikaru Shida offers her hand to Diamante. She shoves her. Match begins.
Even chat is confused. Jorge says it wasn't a title match, Larson, and then Hugh Longheavy says it was, and then Sean O'Callahan says it wasn't, and Sandra says yes, it was. Nobody knows if it was a title match. Now they're just messing with us.
Hold on. Carry on. Go through this match while I investigate.
Diamante was in control of the vast majority of this match. like basically the entire thing. And then I didn't see the finish, so you're going to have to carry that one.
Sorry to interrupt. I go to AEW for their show preview where they have the graphics. No graphic for this match.
That's okay. It didn't matter. Like, Shida was going to win pretty easily. There was no reason for it to be a title match for Diamante, so if it was, it wouldn't have made any sense.
Yeah, I know.
She was, no. They were just, dude, she's not even contracted there. That was what they were saying in the beginning, she's wrestling for a contract.
I guess
and
if
you beat the champion, you'll have a pretty good shot at actually getting a contract there.
Outside of the TNT championship scene, you need to be a contracted wrestler for AEW to qualify for any championship like that.
So Asian Murray here says it was advertised as one, but they dropped it.
All right.
They are falling. They're like, hey, WWE does it and it works.
Maybe they realize, we have this whole skit with FTR that's centered around the idea that they have to actually work for the company to get a title shot. So we can't have this be a title shot when Diamante is fighting for a contract.
That's funny, yeah.
After that, we had a card which had the rules for the women's tag title.
Sorry,
tournament
dude.
Cup. What?
How did that match finish? Because I didn't see it. The Shida match.
Oh, Shida hits her with a Falcon Arrow. Diamante kicks out, and she starts to get up, and Shida just basically takes her head off with the Shining Wizard to get the win.
Okay, that's what I figured out.
One thing we didn't mention during the opening bout is Sammy Guevara hit Jungle Boy with the Feast Your Eyes. That was stiff. I was legit worried for Jungle Boy there.
There was
Aubrey went to go check on him.
There was another nasty spot in that match, and I want to say it was a move that Santana took that looked really ugly, and I don't remember what it is now. A Rana of some sort, maybe laying on his head. I don't know. Anyways, after that was this the Vicky Guerrero. So they talk about the rules of the tag tournament.
Yeah, so there's a random draw. All the selections are final, can't be appealed. Essentially, each competitor will draw a card of a color. There's matching cards of each color, and then in the instance we got Nyla drew a purple card, and then who was doing the interview for this? It was
Dasha. It was Dasha.
Thank you. Says, as luck would have it, someone has already drawn a purple card, and that's when Ariane walks in.
Mm-hmm. And then she turns around and she's like, yep, I'm back. And then I was like, who is that? And then they said Ariane.
Mm-hmm.
Is that her name? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then and I was like, okay, I still don't know who that is. And then I looked it up and somebody mentioned on Twitter Cameron, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, when she walked in, I was like, oh, I remember her.
Yeah. She had like a blonde hair in WWE. I think. Didn't she at one point have blonde hair? Well, I'm going to look up that great spot when she tried to pin Naomi.
After that, we had MJF State of the Industry address. I'm still not exactly sure how I feel about all this. It's a pretty elaborate way for him just to challenge Mox for a title challenge for All In or All Out. And I can't remember who it was. My apologies. Someone here in chat before we started, I believe, said, "Doesn't it seem like this promo would have been more fitting if it were directed towards Cody?"
Yeah, because Mox is not an EVP, and they have kayfabed the EVPs. So there is that. Correct. The bigger issue for me was that this was by the end a babyface promo. Mm-hmm. Because it was like, again, the heel that makes good points, but these are mm-hmm. points that would get a crowd riled up, mm-hmm. and he would have the crowd firmly behind him, regardless of the fact that he started with, hey, fans, marks or whatever. Like, he started out as, like, being condescending to the AEW universe. Took a bunch of shots at WWE using Mox to do that. Mm-hmm. But by the end, this was a raw AEW. I'm AEW. I'm going to lead the people, and AEW fans want to know that their homegrown guys are loyal. MJF in character should actually be saying, I am going to the highest bidder. Yeah. If that means I leave AEW, then so be it. That really should be his character motivation. But this was by the end, a very raw, I am AEW, I bleed black, white, and gold. It was very much like that. A crowd would have been popping hard for this because he's already the kind of guy that people want to cheer for.
Yeah.
It's just he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
Which, if that's what they want, then great. That's cool. That would have been mission accomplished.
Mm-hmm.
But this was not like a heel promo at all. People don't like that Mox that much. People like Mox.
I know.
But
not that much.
Yeah.
Yeah. MJF referenced Hogan, Stone Cold. Was the two most obvious ones. So he says, usually I'm not in the ring for something 2 weeks in a row, and there's a reason for that because somebody's tired of being upstage, and that's why it's time for a change. There's one person back when this company started who wanted a paradigm shift. First idea that he's talking about Mox. He says this originally started as a revolution, has turned to a dictatorship, which is why Mox is not MJF's champion. He says wrestling is on the marquee when AEW runs shows, but where is the wrestling? All he sees is a bunch of people doing all sorts of crazy stuff, risking their life. And fans have been brainwashed to thinking that this is wrestling. And here you got Mox doing stuff, cosplaying as Stone Cold. Says everybody wants to talk about ratings, which is why John, as he calls him, Dictator John, is treated so well. But who draws better numbers than Mox? MJF claims he does. He says, due to the Mox and the old guard, AEW is no longer a land of opportunity, but MJF, can lead AEW the promised land. He is AEW. He'll be leading the company for the next 20. This is all babyface stuff. He'll be leading the company for the next 25 years, and this is why he's making a promise that he's just going to turn just happy to be a competitor at AEW into AEW's pinnacle of professional wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when he challenges Mox to a title match at All Out.
Yeah, so he's finally cashing in his #1 rating. Hey, plug in, plug out, please. He's finally turning that #1 ranking into a title match, which is cool. I do think this would have been. I mean, look, if they want the crowd to be legitimately split, sometimes those are the best matches. Sometimes those are the best environments. They're not going to have fans by All Out, but if that's what they still want to present, then that's fine. That's great. I think it worked wonders. I think that this was a little on the long side, but I don't know. I mean, MJF is a big deal, not a bigger deal than Mox, and I don't know that this. I mean, he might take Mox to the limit, but do you think now is MJF's time? If it is, his Mox's reign is. I mean, it's been like a steady thing for AEW. I think it's like, hey, we've got a top guy, a legitimate top guy, a guy with great name recognition. Everything that MJF said, he's legitimate. He's in the top spot, but hasn't been the best reign in the world. And I know some of that is due to pandemic and JR tonight. Like you said, everybody blames everything for the pandemic. I couldn't do my laundry. I blame pandemic.
But I think to a certain extent, that's just kind of that's Mox.
I think. I don't know, man. I think you put Mox in a decent story, and I think you might have something. And I just don't think that there's been anything with a good story presented to him.
Hasn't been.
I think there's been really good stories in AEW presented for various wrestlers. I think we've seen that a lot with Cody. Cody can whip up a great story for himself with ease, seemingly.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
With Mox, it just sort of seems like, okay, you got another big guy. Time to do a promo, do your promo that you do,
yeah,
and then you're gonna have the match, and you're gonna look immediately gassed, and then you're gonna do a paradigm shift.
Yeah, you're gonna get beat up for 15 minutes, or you get a paradigm shift, and you're gonna win.
Or Taz is gonna throw in the towel.
Yeah, because you're suddenly a submission wrestling expert, Mox.
But there hasn't been somebody, and maybe over the next month, they will find a way to make this interesting and give us some idea of, oh wow, because this was a good start.
It was. If there's anybody that can get Mox out of his rut, it's going to be MJF. Maybe if no other reason, MJF probably isn't going to win. But if this is a way to kind of get Mox out of the rut he's been in as champ, I guess it'd be worthwhile.
Mm-hmm.
So they announced next week we're getting Cody and Matt Cardona taking on, I believe it's Alex Reynolds. Wow. Reynolds and Silver. John
Sound
Silver.
like me right now.
Man. We get an MJF update. And then we get the Elite, so it's Kenny, the Young Bucks, and Paige, as well as FTR, versus like every other member of the Dark Order that's not wrestling Cody and Matt Cardona. So it's a 6-on-6 tag match.
All your favorites from the Dark Order, including 4,
1, 2, 3,
6,
10.
I
believe Reynolds and Silver are 5 and 6. No.
5 is Allin Ingalls.
I thought he was 6.
No, he was 5. Yeah.
So then Silver and Reynolds must be 3 and 4.
No, who's 1 and 2? Oh,
would be
Uno.
Stu and Uno. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Reynolds and Silver 3 and 4. Good job.
Yeah.
Well
so next, our main event: Darby Allin and Jon Moxley taking on Ricky Starks,
Brian
Cage. So at first, Darby's music hits, but no Darby Allin. Where is he?
Where's
of course,
Darby
we had heard
Allin?
he had been concussed.
Ugh.
So you really can't. It's not advisable to wrestle a wrestling match when you're a week off concussion. Problem. So Mox comes down the ring. We go backstage. Taz has a mic. He's there with Cage and Starks. And Taz like, hey, where's Darby at? Oh, yeah. Ricky beat the hell out of him last week. And Taz goes to Cage and goes, here, step in front of me so some people don't get pissed off. Because I guess maybe there's people online saying that Taz has been too front and center.
Oh, I haven't heard that criticism, but I get it, huh? Because he has been.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
And then he starts putting them over, saying, like describing all his impressive musculature, comparing it to things.
Taz has me dead, and look, I'm entertained. He makes me laugh. I don't know that's what he's going for. Look at these lats. Look at these delts. Oh my God, look at this right here. And then of course we got Ricky Starks. Ricky, here's the microphone. I gotta go. And then he runs back to commentary. And so Ricky Starks gets on the mic. I love Ricky Starks so much, man. I think he's so good. I think he's got the entire time he got Taz and Cage on the screen. You can't stop looking at Ricky Starks. The guy has got that camera charisma that not everybody has. And he gets on the mic, and I kind of feel like he wasn't as smooth as he was in NWA. It might be a difference in the fact maybe he likes to preach to a crowd.
Maybe he knew to finish this match and was nervous about taking some thumbtacks.
That's you texted me when you saw that finish. You're like, I wonder if he was just nervous because that finish was horrible and he knew that he was going to have to take that. Regardless, he's great. He's miles ahead of where he probably should be given his age, because I'm sure he's probably young. He's so terrific.
Yeah, that
Ricky
line
Starks
about
is great.
Darby where he says, you look like Pigpen and wrestle like a crash test dummy. That was good.
Yeah, that was good stuff. So anyways, they go out to the ramp. So what was the premise of this? Were they saying, Mox, you have to choose one of us to fight?
No, I think the idea was going to be a handicap match.
Oh, they were going to do that. Okay. So they come out.
That's how Taz set it up, yeah.
Okay, and then Darby Allin comes falling down off the tunnel onto
coffin drop on the top of him, yeah.
Yeah, and then Taz is at commentary already. He yells, "It's a trap! They trapped us!" Taz kills me, dude. He's so funny. I don't know if he means to be. He is funny, man.
This is it was a no DQ match, and it was pretty straightforward in that regard until Darby produced just the board of a skateboard with a bunch of thumbtacks on the bottom side.
Oh boy. Oh, but they booked Cage really, really strong in this match. Like moments.
Except his arm is like made of silly string.
Yeah, it is.
Anybody touches his arm, he sells it like he got blasted with a chair.
That part of the machine is pure rust.
Oh my gosh! Like how long is that going to be a story for 3 years?
I guess so, man. I guess so. Yeah. As soon as anybody touches it, he's So anyways, continue on. Allin pulled out the skateboard that didn't have wheels; it just had tacks.
No. Yeah.
So he gets that. He whacks Starks with it.
And it goes to the top, hits the top rope, double stomp. with the board underneath his feet right into Ricky Stark's back.
But the thing is, it wasn't like bang off. It was he slid off the poor guy's back, and so the camera, like, immediately, this guy is bloody. Just there, he is ripped. This is like Passion of the Christ. He is ripped open, man. And the camera catches it.
It's got thumbtacks stuck in his back, yeah.
My 70-inch screen TV is red.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, and, of course, Brian Cage can't break up the pin. Why? Because Mox has him in an arm bar.
Hey, Cage, we got to chop that arm off. It's a liability. You do better one up.
I mean, at this point, maybe. Mr. Dark says Cage needs the Iron Mike Sharp arm brace. He needs one of those Barry Bonds arm things that he wore whenever he went up to hit.
Did you ever see
wrist to like mid upper arm?
Did you ever see the cutscene Samoa Joe from 2K20's career mode? He had like a robotic arm or something.
Yeah.
He needs that. My favorite part from this match is actually, so Lacey came home from work. She's sitting there eating her steak like Vince next to me. And she looks up and she sees Cage cradling Darby Allin and says, "Why is there a baby boy out there?" It's funny. Ricky Starks is taller than I figured he'd be.
Yeah.
Like, he's at least as tall as Cage is. But I mean, Cage isn't he's not the tallest guy in the world.
Cage is maybe 6 feet tall.
I thought Ricky Starks is like Darby size, but when we go toe to toe with Darby, he's like significantly bigger than Darby Allin.
Yeah, Darby's not tall.
You work for Evolve. So anyways, Ricky Starks ate the pin on that one. Yowza. And then next week they announced Darby Allin, the number 5 in the rankings.
Yeah.
Getting his match against Mox.
So they're on opposite side of the ring. Darby looks over at Mox, stares at the belt, points at it, and then while he's pointing, they say that Tony Khan has made the match, title match next week.
Yep. Let's answer some questions. I think I did a thread on the Patreon. Let me double check. We got a bunch of questions here. Fear and Loathing says Lacey had steak. What did Steve have for dinner? I had steak too, man. We got a 2-pack.
Did you get some of those Omaha steaks?
Just Winco, wherever they get their cows from.
Wherever they get their cows from. R. Lopez Ortiz says, in his opinion, MJF shouldn't go after Mox because as the AEW homegrown guy, he's going to get backed by the people. Ultimately, Omega should beat Mox, and then MJF should beat Omega for Ultimate Heat. Then you have Hangman beat MJF.
It depends on how. It depends on how. Look, if it depends on what direction they want MJF to go in. I mean, if this rah-rah speech is like the opening salvo of basically a babyface campaign. If you're right, story-wise, if they turn this into an AEW guy versus an intruder, regardless of what Mox says, the fans are going to be back in MJF. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see where they go with that because that speech was something else.
Yeah. Hugh Longheavy, he did some Twitter hunting, and the Shida versus Diamante match was not a title match, but AEW was saying that Diamante was challenging Shida in singles competition.
What is she, the Rockin' Rebel? Joe Juarez says, so the demo god Chris Jericho is turning 50 this year. Wow. What should his gimmick become once he's no longer part of the key demographic?
Well, he is part of WWE's key demographic.
Oh, wow.
Because from what we've heard, WWE's audience skews older.
Well, there you go. Nemo asks, does Hager's tights look like boxer briefs to anyone else?
Mm-hmm.
Is using actual underwear worse than normal wrestling trunks? Yeah, that's worse. A ball could pop out.
Mm-hmm.
One thing. Another thing. I mean,
it'd be kind of tough for like boxer briefs when they're actually tight fitting around your thighs. It'd be kind of in theory.
I remember walking around Hollywood with our friend Evald once.
Yeah.
And there's an old man, had to be pushing 80. But he was on his walk. He was like on his morning walk or whatever. I don't know why we were out in the morning. But he just had a pair of he had like a normal like a track jacket and like a shirt underneath and like a headband or whatever.
Yeah.
And boxer briefs. I think he thought they were like shorts.
Yeah.
I'd never seen Evald laugh so hard before.
What, his balls hanging out?
No.
Oh, all right.
But there was I guess the potential that could happen.
Oh, I guess
it was
maybe.
the fact that this old guy was just oblivious to the fact that he was wearing underwear, that he left the house. He was wearing underwear and didn't realize it. God, he was laughing so hard.
Beans from the East. Cody said there is no bad and good guys, so I guess he wants to show that with MJF.
Yeah, I sort of got that vibe, but that's going to backfire because people are not going to be into Mox.
Yeah.
Thomas Dunnigan now says kayfabe reasons why Jake Hager enjoys wearing boxer briefs to the ring.
It's got to be comfort.
He looks good. I mean, look, if I look like that, I'd wear boxer briefs everywhere too, just like that old man in Hollywood.
Our Lopez Ortiz, Mox versus Jericho was awesome. Everything leading up to it was great. I think Mox is a wrestler who needs crowds. That wasn't a bad feud. The stuff with the eye was good.
I thought the stuff
with the weigh-in segment was good.
Yeah, Mox versus Kenny, I thought was great.
The actual match was really good. Yeah, and the
build
actual
was pretty
match
good too. Was good.
Yeah. Twinewinder. What's more likely, New Japan has a relationship with AEW or New Japan has a relationship with Impact?
AEW. Impact is, as you always used to say, I'm not sure what Impact. These days, you kind of need the bigger platform. New Japan.
I don't know what New Japan would gain from a partnership with Impact at this point.
New Japan. Especially now, given that like a bunch of their talent is over here, like an exchange would be like, why not? You know, I think they should probably do it. I think it'd benefit them quite a bit. I think it'd benefit AEW quite a bit.
R. Lopez Ortiz. I was at Revolution. The energy for Mox was insane. Place was going wild for his win, and then the pandemic hit. Remember at Double or Nothing, we were there when he made his debut.
Oh, it was shocking. It was great. People were, yeah. I mean, also the thing about Impact now, isn't like New Japan, I mean, given the whole Axis thing, how they like basically like either booted New Japan off or New Japan was like, no, I'm not going to do this.
Yeah.
I think the blood is probably pretty bad between those two companies.
Yeah. Sandra says, I was hoping Yoshihiko would make his AEW in-ring debut, fresh off the match in Joey Janela.
Yeah. Joey Janela's got to be probably hurting right now.
Yeah, he's got to be pretty sore right now.
Derek Paris, France. Who is someone not featured prominently on the main show that you think can be AEW World Champion 5 years from now? He says Kip Sabian. I think if Kip adds like 20 pounds of muscle, that's a possibility.
Yeah, maybe. I'm trying to think who else is in 5 years.
5 years. Not featured prominently right now.
I mean, Lance Archer's not featured prominently right now.
I love that he was ringside just chilling. He was like, oh, these guys are wrestling. That's cool.
If they booked him like he did when he debuted and having Jake there just dropping awesome promos for him, he could definitely be heel world title contender.
Why haven't they been doing that? They've got Jake the Steak there. Have him every week doing something. That is weird.
I know.
That is actually really weird.
Asian Murr, R.I.P. Ricky Stark's back. That scream of pain.
Yeah, that was rough. Peyton Jackson, what do you think Matt Cardona's ceiling is in AEW? TNT champion.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'd have to see what they're going to do with him first.
This is a good question from Adrian C. Ricky Starks versus Sammy Guevara. Who you got for long-term success?
Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks, easily. Oh, man. He's got that charisma, dude.
Yeah. He's better on the mic.
He is better. He's much better on the mic. Like Sammy's got his charm. Don't get me wrong. I like Sammy Guevara a lot, but man, Ricky Starks is a guy. He's gonna go far, dude.
Sorry, but I'll change my answer for that question a little bit back. It's not Lance Archer. It's Scorpio Sky. Gareth Nichols says Scorpio Sky has been racking up wins on Dark. Is he the perfect guy to beat Cody in the Open Challenge, or should that opportunity be saved for new indie talent? Anybody who's coming in to challenge that TNT title that isn't signed is not winning it. And short of, I can't think of anybody on the independents they would actually save from maybe Jeff Cobb. If Jeff Cobb showed up and beat Cody, it would be shocking, but I wouldn't be like, oh, that's way out of left field. Because Jeff Cobb is like a really well-known, well-established name in wrestling around the world.
Yeah. So Ricky Starks was trained by Booker T.
Oh.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Church Jackson asks, Steve, what is son of a bitch in Spanish? Son of el bitch, apparently, according to Sammy Guevara.
Fear and Loathing, what perks would you want in your wrestling contracts, and who would you choose to help go over it, and why is it Taz?
Wait, what? What?
What perks would you want in your wrestling contracts, and who would you choose to go over it? And why is that person Taz?
If I was serious about trying to get, it would not be Taz. Wait, what is this right here? What is this? That's just the cover letter right there, man. That's just my name. What? That don't make no sense. Taz, go away, please. Who would I have? Who would I have go over it?
Jake. Arn Anderson. Arn Anderson's a really good choice.
Arn wanted a laughter in that entire segment.
I know,
it was hilarious.
Great.
He wasn't taking it seriously for a bit.
Great.
It was hilarious. I'd have Jake. I'd have Jake, man.
I'd have Dean Malenko.
Oh, wow, okay.
The Iceman, Dean Malenko.
The Iceman.
All businessman.
Yeah. He would just be looking out for grammar mistakes.
That's fine. Because sometimes, if there's something that's grammatically incorrect that can later be used against you because it's vague, is ambiguous,
you'd be like,
want that taken care of.
You'd be like, Dean, Jake was able to get Steve like 3 main event slots. And I don't have any of that in here. He's like, earn it.
Like, well, that's what you say, Dean. You're my advisor here. So, all right.
What's your name again? Oh, man.
Can you teach me some holds, Dean? I only know 12.
Fine. Hold the door for me. Walks out. What a great hold. Gregory Faye was watching a Good Brothers interview, and they were talking about the Boneyard match, and The Undertaker apparently said some druids couldn't work and should have gone back to summer school.
Wow.
No question there. Just a great story. Go back to summer school.
Jorge D, what can AEW do to make people watch Dark more? There's just a lot of wrestling. There's a lot.
2 hours. It's like, isn't that show longer than like Dynamite? Technically speaking, I think it's like 2 straight hours.
Then it would be if that's the case.
Isn't Dark is 2 hours, isn't it? Or is it usually 1 hour? It's just 1 hour usually, isn't it?
It started as 1 hour, but I don't know if it's expanded. They have like 12 matches on it.
Oh, it's 1 hour. Yeah, they had like 12 matches this week though. Is it when they have like the super dark, when it's like super long? I thought they've had like an hour and a half. It depends. People are saying it depends, and they're saying it's 1 hour.
So this week it was almost 2 hours, an hour and 50 minutes.
Okay. All right. I mean, so from what I've heard, the main thing, that's true. Raven LaFleur says, allow Steve to co-stream. That's true. From what I've heard, there's a lot of non-consequential and Peter Avalon and Brandon Cutler trying to put together a win, which I actually would appreciate.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just when I look at the card and I see it's always name wrestler versus jobber. I mean,
Where's
appreciate
the intrigue? Where's the intrigue?
Yeah.
I gotcha. Dang MQ, Vicky's reaction to Cameron was great. It was a not you again type of reaction.
Yeah. James Fletcher, who will be the next big indie talent to take in Cody, and to take on Cody, sorry, and name one you could see winning. Caljack.
Mm-hmm. Goldie Vorman says prediction is Scorpio Sky will beat Cody for the TNT title. I think that'd be great.
That would be awesome, and I think it's reasonable.
R. Lopez Ortiz. I think it also depends on what happens with Omega. If Omega goes cleaner Omega, then no one will be will be as over as Kenny, because that's what everyone in the U.S. has wanted from Omega in AEW.
It'd be pretty great. Steve Klain, does Frankie Kazarian look 5 years younger since growing his hair out? Yeah, he does look younger.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. Asian Mercer. Simon Miller for TNT title shot. The H champion.
There you go. Zondo, Mox's title run hasn't been good, but really, who was the last top title holder to have a good run?
Jericho. Jericho was great. His reign was awesome.
O-Dog missed the Impact live stream. Really want to know how Steve reacted to the Katie Forbes segment, entrance, and photo reveal.
You'll never know, because we had to delete the VOD. That's part of the rules. My reaction, I think I was like this. Most of the time. That's an interesting couple. Katie Forbes and RVD.
Easy mode. MJF promo turned me off from Mox match completely.
Oh wow!
So, one person not sold on that match.
Not sold. Moses supposes when Cody loses his belt, do you think it'll be due to one of these open challenges or a feud that culminates to a match? You know what it should be? It should be a feud, and it should be Scorpio Sky. And after one of these open challenges with another indie talent, Scorpio Sky should attack and say, I've been racking up wins on Dark, and I want my shot. Enough of bringing in other people. You have a whole roster full of people here. I want that. And then he gets it.
That's good.
Boom. I booked it.
It's good. R. Lopez Ortiz, how would you all book the AEW New Japan partnership? He says, I would have the G1 winner randomly show up on a Dynamite reveal that the new partnership allows them to challenge for the AEW championship.
How about this? The Kazuchika Okada Pro Wrestling title.
Yeah.
The King of Pro Wrestling title. The
Could
Kapow
be what
title.
It stands for.
Apparently it was his idea.
Yeah.
When I back and I actually watched that press conference, apparently it was his idea. So the Kazuchika Okada Pro Wrestling title should be the gateway. It should be the one that travels the territories.
Yeah.
Shows up in WWE, NXT,
Agreed.
AEW, Impact, Connecticut.
Zondo, Cage versus Moose versus Cardona for all the fake titles. Who wins?
Moose. Give me a break. It's Moose. Guy's $1 million. Steven Hansen. Should Moxley be having more hardcore matches? They're his forte, and he's losing the Moxley edge that made him popular and slowly going back into Dean Ambrose.
I kind of hope that next week the match with Darby has some sort of no DQ stipulation. Because they've had a match before, and I think it was a standard match. It was fine, but if you really want to up the ante a little bit,
would MJF drop his campaign if Darby Allin wins next week?
No, because he would pivot his campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Pivot.
He got to pivot. You got to start listening to your aides and pivot.
Ryan K. Lamb, out of all the recent WWE firings, has Matt Cardona's debut been the most lackluster? He just kind of showed up.
I kind of feel like the Good Brothers was the most lackluster.
Yeah.
It was the very end of Slammiversary. Like, okay, AEW, everybody else at this point has people in their crowd. Might not be a lot. Might not look great. New Japan has people back. WWE has 50 people in the crowd or whatever. AEW, their stuff looks pretty good considering.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but Dang MQ says Heath Slater.
Oh, that's the worst. Backstage. But okay, I think, again, this sort of goes to what we were talking about Monday in relation to where they were. And I know the Good Brothers weren't like in a great spot in WWE, but they were in the Boneyard match. They were tag champions there. They had a relatively high profile. Yeah. And then they just sort of mill about at the end of Slammiversary with like nobody in the building. Yeah. Heath is Heath. He was on TV. That's more than he was doing in. Oh yeah, Kurt Hawkins. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's had like 2 very generic, really short video vignettes that don't say anything. And I think they're saddling him.
Still better than Face the Facts, man.
But dude, I think they're saddling him with a bitter ex-WWE guy. Like, I'm going to show you WWE. No, I think they're doing that. I kind of like Face the Facts. I thought was actually, if they had like really, you could have gone somewhere with Face the Facts.
I know they just did the Chuck Norris joke thing.
Yeah, Face the Facts. It's like I got some bad news. I like Bad News Barrett too.
Yeah, you did. Dangum Q. AEW has a relationship with AAA. In New Japan has a relationship with CMLL. That would be a stumbling block and a potential AEW New Japan partnership.
I don't know that that's true. I mean, I know those relationships do exist, but I just don't think that one preclude all that would preclude is CMLL and AAA talent not being on the same show, maybe. Yeah. But I don't think that's a big deal. I think the resentments between all the parties are probably more.
Flat. The tag tourney feels like AEW's Mae Young Classic. Anyone you want to see pop up? Good question. I mean, so many people are signed now. There's not a whole lot of...
I know.
Let me think about that.
I would say, the Medusa Complex. Charlie Evans and
Millie McKenzie.
Millie McKenzie.
Yeah, Millie's really good. I'm not familiar. Charlie Evans is her partner's name?
They're terrific. They're both terrific, yeah.
Tina K, do you think, similar to the Warhorse trend, that they would answer the challenge of Lufisto? I think Cody did respond, just said he's not into intergender wrestling.
Yeah, I like that everybody's been making custom
I know.
Custom Cody TNT championship cards, rather. Any more?
That's all I got on Twitch.
All right, that's all we got on the Patreon. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Let us know what you guys thought about tonight's AEW Dynamite in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Until next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.